The landscape of gaming has changed quite a bit from the PS1 to the impending PS5. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the graphics and sound department. Imagine our surprise with the arrival of the Eternal Castle Remastered for the Nintendo Switch. A 2-bit CGA game from an era before icon-laden OS layouts. Given some modern tweaks, does this one stand the test of time, or should it remain lost in gaming history? Let's clear the history up from the start. This being a remaster implies that a previous title exists. The internet did not help conjuring up any information regarding the original, well, because it never existed. At its heart, the Eternal Castle is a love letter to the MS-DOS days of gaming. The story is the main component to this title, and in the interest of spoilers, we're going to kind of handle that minimally. The objective from the outset after crash landing on a planet is to repair your ship and get home. In order to do so, players must traverse varying landscapes and biomes to collect 4 glider fragments. This is carried out by assuming the role of Adam or Eve. The inclusion of the co-op component was nice, but the reliance on the 2-bit style, this created more trouble than it was worth. Visually, this is a matter of preference. Older gamers will be delighted to take a trip back 33 years and relive the near monochrome color suite. Level areas are unique enough to stand out with a different color used to differentiate it from previous regions. However, the real star here is the use of the throwback rotoscoped animations. Those familiar with legendary titles like Karateka and Out of This World will be familiar with the silky smooth animation technique. Adam, or Eve, move throughout the blocky, unrefined world with a grace and fluidity missing in tons of today's graphics-heavy offerings. What results is a living, breathing world where everyone that you encounter feels alive. Unfortunately, the limited graphical prowess also acts as a hindrance to your adventure. Instant death abounds as trial and error are your only key to survival in some areas. The limited pixel count and abstract look hide what could be seen as hidden traps that only reveal themselves after you've been crushed to death on a few occasions. This applies to the enemies as well. In most encounters, chances are you're about to engage in combat. Later, however, friendly inhabitants work their way into the mix, and you would be wrong to assume that ammo was not wasted in their attempted assassination. Control-wise, the Eternal Castle is on par with its inspirational roots. That being translated into today means overly loose controls that don't feel precise during segments of intense combat. Thankfully, however, combat is not the star of the show. The vast majority of the playthrough is more in line with the retro adventures. Platforming is slow but precise once players get a feel for how your character responds. Similar to Flashback in The Way, both of which are on the Switch, players will be responsible for solving small environmental puzzles in order to proceed further before a sub-boss challenge. Getting a handle on your character's locomotion is key in order to navigate the trap-laden rooms and pits of instant death. Thankfully, there are checkpoints scattered throughout, which you can meditate at and create, in essence, a clone of your consciousness. Additionally, the audio helps soothe you into a state of meditation. The smooth synth music in the trailer is in here, albeit not as much as it hoped for. That being said, the sound design on a whole is fantastic, and is easily the standout feature aside from the rotoscoping. Firearms are punchy, and each sounds satisfyingly different. Combat with melee weapons is equally as enjoyable, and delivering a sickening thud upon enemies with a contact is a joy. The Eternal Castle is a tough one to crack. On the surface, you have a false history created by the developers to help create an artificial desire to experience a relic from the past. Yet it doesn't exist. What does exist, however, is a title that, had it been released during this time, would have fit in nicely and possibly carved out its own niche, which would have warranted a remaster 30 years later. So, is it a good game? Yes! The game accomplishes what it set out to do. Those old enough to appreciate gaming time capsules will feel right at home discovering a lost title from the days of Snorks and Muppet Babies. However, those with no attachment to the origins of visual PC gaming will be at a loss, as the graphical deficits and locomotion-based controls will produce as much rage as a cliffhanger finale to a cancelled show. For more news, reviews, previews, any more oohs we can think of, visit twobeergaming.com. Also hit that subscribe button since you're here already. Till next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.